NHL Nightly with your host, the sports, a.k.a. Pierre Lebowski, a.k.a. Jeremiah Maxwell. And with him, as always, maybe Pearlo, Wisdom, and Rico in Barrie. And the Degenerate Bostonian. Hey, just real quick before we get started on the show, and we have a lot to cover, I just wanted to talk about last Friday. Just apologize to Singsy. I talked to him, but I think he got upset because I was getting loud and maybe took offense. But I respect him 100%. It was not about him. I was being loud. I wasn't really paying attention. My hearing is gone basically in my right ear. So I'm not yelling at somebody to disrespect them. This show, we're never going to shy away from controversy, but I'm going to be passionate about the stuff I believe in. But I'm not doing it to demean any of our guests or mistreat anybody. We're not doing that. I'm not doing that anyway to anybody. If you look at my Twitter feed, I never say shit to anybody. So, you know, it's all about respect, and I respect Singsy 100%. So I appreciate him coming on. I tweeted that out after the show. So got a great time. Enjoyed having him. We have a lot to cover, and I've got some show news. Pearlo, when he comes on, has got some breaking news for you guys. So I'll let him tell you guys, but it's good news. But so I sent you guys the rundown of what I wanted to talk about. We got so much OV week to week. It sounds like I do not know what the issue is. Kipper had some insight. Sounds like maybe it's a broken leg. I don't know. Be like a hairline fracture, so that might not be the worst thing. But if it's an MCL or something, that's probably less time. So it'll be interesting. But anyway, it's gonna be a there's a lot of crazy stuff going on with injuries, because the next guy I wanted to talk about is Auston Matthews. He's been out for 3 weeks, and he's in Munich now getting treatments on what some people think is his back. Rico, I mean, what are your thoughts? I did hear Emily Kaplan say today it is not his wrist that he had hurt last year, which, by the way, didn't he have 69 goals last year? So, or was that the year before? I can't remember. If his wrist was hurting, he still didn't affect him.
Yeah, well, I know they got different laws over there in Germany than they do in North America, different ways of treating, different, things that you can do over there. Christian McCaffrey from the NFL went over there. Usain Bolt, I think, saw the same doctor as well, too. So,
yeah, real quick, just to say the regulations, the difference between U.S., Canada, and over there is they use the stem cell stuff, which promotes healing, and some other stuff a little bit quicker, but we don't have to go into it. Go ahead, Reed.
Well, yeah, no, quickly with that too is, who goes over there too is LeBron James, and the guy's doing triple doubles every night at 40 years old, and the guy found the fountain of youth. So I mean that aside too, the only thing that bothers me about that, and it's bothering a lot of reporters at the mecca of the hockey world, is just in the NFL, man, they tell you the exact location of the injury, and I guess they do it because of betting now. But that's another side of this too. Like, why doesn't the NHL just divulge what's going on? So some say that needs to change just because of the betting market. And I mean, Auston Matthews is sponsored by a betting company, but at the end of the day, he's a private guy as well too. I know he got mad when the NHL or the Leafs made it known that he had COVID, I guess, to one of the reporters, and he got pissed about that. So you got to understand the privacy and stuff too.
It's HIPAA laws here in the States. I don't know how it works in Canada, but your personal medical stuff is your personal business. And I disagree that the NHL, I don't think you should disclose injuries. I think they can say upper body, lower body, they don't need to be specific. I feel like he is entitled to his, if he's out, he's out, right? I mean, and shoot, the Leafs are playing pretty good without him. So the record's really good. So I'm just saying, you're a gambler, Rico. Is that really going to change how you bet the Leafs with him out?
I mean, there's live odds for him to get the Rocco Richard right now too. And there's some guys that bet it preseason. I'm not talking about the personal side. I'm just hearing both sides of arguments all over Twitter, because some of the reporters are going off about all this because they got to report on something, right? And when they don't hear anything, they start making stuff up. Like, nothing's come out from the Leafs. So a lot of the stuff we're reading is just speculation. I don't think the Leafs have formally said what's going on with him. And I mean, first, and it's pissing off fans because first it was day to day, now it's week to week, and now he's over in Germany. I mean, I guess they had to divulge that because somebody probably would have saw him sitting at a coffee shop in Germany, took a picture of it, posted on Twitter, and then, they'd really look like their asses in their face. So we're just fans. I mean, the guy is a new captain for the Leafs. He's the face of the U.S. for the Four Nations Cup. I mean, he's the highest paid player in the NHL. Everybody's going to be asking about him. And as a Leaf fan, we just want to make sure he's good, man.
Hey, Dominic, nice to see you. I'll just say this. I think initially they didn't think it was as bad as it was. I think that's how these things go, and that's why they go from day to day. And then, let's hope he's back soon, Dominic. He's 5 goals in 2 games. So the next thing is JT Miller takes an indefinite leave of absence for personal reasons. This is a blow to the USA because we're just talking about Auston Matthews. No guarantee Auston Matthews plays in the Four Nations Cup at this point. If I'm Toronto, the closer it gets to him not playing into the Four Nations Cup, which is what, February? We talked about that at the beginning of the show, Dom. So we're gonna move on from it. But I am super legit curious that JT Miller is a guy I had slotted on U.S. team. So that's a big blow. And then obviously Auston Matthews not having those guys will be huge. So that's a real bummer. And if I'm Toronto and he's not 100% when they do that break, you're going to want him to take that time. Now, I know it's 2 games, right? Or 3 games. What are they playing? Is it 3 games over a week period or something? Do you know the schedule, Rico or Mike?
Not 100%. I think it's round robin, and then they kind of face off against each other in the semifinal and the final.
Yeah. 17th and 20th, you're in Boston, and then I forget the third date, but it's not in Boston. It's in, I believe, Montreal. And then there's a championship round. So potentially 4 games, but it is round robin play. So, I mean.
Yeah.
I just hope when Ovi comes back, the conditioning is going to be back. Like, the guy was just on an unbelievable pace, and this goes and happens. Like, we can't have nice things, man. This is just, it was a great story in the NHL, man. It was taking the NHL by storm. We were falling in love with Ovi all over again, even if we weren't a fan of him, as he was out there and he was back. And, oh, man. I just really hope he comes back, man. Full health. And, dude, we were talking about breaking the record by certain days. I know John Butchagras had this date, and I think he said it back in 2016 that he was going to break it like some March 25th or something. And he put the eye emoji out. But... Yeah, was it 2021 he said it? Okay. Could have been. Yeah.
Rangers just went up 2-1 on the said Vancouver Canucks too. Kind of a bummer there for Vancouver. They started out with a 1-goal lead. So, Darkness. I didn't get to watch the Blues game much, but they're playing a really good team in the Wild, man. I feel like you got some injuries there. You just got Robert Thomas back. That was a good thing. So I was going to go to one final thing of, 2 bad more things. Mike Riley, did you guys hear this with the Islanders? I guess they found a congenital heart problem. Lou Lamoriello comes out and says it's a blessing in disguise. And it, probably saves his life. So,
the hit that Jordan Greenway put on Mike Riley, basically, it's kind of weird to say, but that hit probably saved his life. When he was laying on the ice with a concussion that night when Buffalo played the Islanders in Buffalo that night, man, if maybe he didn't get hit, he wouldn't be in the hospital, and they wouldn't have found out this degenerative heart thing that he probably had since he was born. He had no idea about. So, I mean, It sucks that he got hit and it's a concussion, but I mean, blessing in disguise there.
Yeah, and so he's going to be out, I'm assuming, probably the rest of the year, or maybe the rest of his career. I don't know. But anyway, and then that ref, Mitch Dunning, he got hurt in a game, in the Flyers game, but it sounds like he's going to be okay. No issues there. I'm going to let you guys
Yeah,
go
he
through
kind of just
everything.
got spun around. It was a weird play.
Yeah,
I don't know, was it his hip or something? Yeah, he got carried off on a stretcher. What is it, like his hip? Like the way he fell, he spun around, and then it looked like he fell directly on his hip bone or something.
Yeah, could have been a hip flexor or something where he. I'll try to find the video if you guys are interested, but just let me know. So much is going on. I wanted to go over positives. Blues got Robert Thomas back. Celebrini scores in overtime yesterday. That was really cool. Sid is at 599. Did not score. I was watching a little bit of that game. Pittsburgh was up 2-0 going in the third. I was like, oh, I think they're going to win this game. They looked really good. And then the Lightning come back and win it in OT. And the only reason I saw is Biz tweeted, sent him to Colorado. I was like, oh, I thought they were winning the game. Jets get a nice win against Panthers 6-3. We talked about the Wild, the Blues. Avi just mentioned the Oilers. I thought the Oilers looked the best they've looked all year. McDavid and Draisaitl are back. They stomped Ottawa in Ottawa. Ottawa, no excuse. You got Edmonton on a back-to-back. They got beat by Montreal. This is a game you got to win, Ottawa. You got to win these home games. And then Islanders are up 1-0. By the way, Pierre Engvall, 3 goals. I think he's 2 in 3 games or 2 in the last 2 games. Pierre Engvall scored for them. And then the Ducks are up 3-2. Dude, we didn't talk about this because we weren't live, but the Ducks, we talked about the parlay yesterday. I was talking to Steve earlier today. If you had the dog, like 4 of the 5 dogs, the Ducks stomped Dallas in Dallas. Cutter Gauthier gets his goal, gets on the board. And Ducks are up 3-2 to the Blackhawks. And what's going on with Connor Bedard? Like, Macklin Celebrini has 4 goals in 8 games played. Bedard's played every game this season, and he has 3. So that's interesting. And then, as Avi said, I watched tonight Providence versus BC because Colby Cohen called the game. And Ryan Leonard, 2 goals to include the overtime goal. Did you get to see the overtime goal, Mike?
That was the only goal I got to see. But, when you put that as your lock of the week, it feels real good.
Yeah. With no Fowler there, you could tell, though, and I'll tell you what, Providence is a good team, but Boston College, they're not as good as they were last year. That's for sure.
Fowler served his suspension. The Eagles got a win. We'll see what happens this weekend.
Yeah.
I think Grinelli sent it a while back on Twitter that Celebrini's going to be better than Bedard. Yes, Grinnell posted that on Twitter a while back.
So speaking of Grinelli, he had Mike Grinnell of Spit and Chicklets. He's the producer. He had that if Monty gets fired, which he was in the hot seat, and Avi said this, and I'm going to go back. Avi says, I told Jim was going to get fired. Good move for the Bruins. See if this switches confidence in the team. I disagree, Avi. I think this is an absolute dog shit move by the Bruins. The problem is in the front office. They need a change there. Sweeney, at the very least, in my opinion, needs to not work there anymore. And I feel like we buried it, but Jim Montgomery gets fired by the Boston Bruins. Let's go all around while we look at Ryan Leonard's overtime goal against Providence here via per ESPN. Do you see this?
Wow, that's pretty.
Oh, wow.
Dude, it was unreal, man. So anyway, it took me like 3 times to understand what he did there.
Dude, that's Ovi stuff, man.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? He's with the Caps, so
I know.
Hopefully they keep him. Yeah, right there. Back again. All right, per ESPN. Thank you for ESPN for letting us borrow that. That was ESPN Plus that game was on. Yeah, Andrew, pretty insane. If it not all Jim's fault, but he was a bad coach in the playoffs with 9-11. Yeah, I mean, but Avi ran into teams that, like, the first year it was very much upset win against Florida. I don't put that on the coach, that you were the best team.
See, I'm with on the first year, Beard. I'm going to disagree with you. He knew Allmark had an issue. Swayman was great. You're up 3-1. Give Swayman a shot before Game 7. So, if you wanted to chew him out for that series, the first time they lost to Florida, I'd actually agree with you. But the other 2 years, I'm struggling with. The guy has 41 losses in 3 seasons or something like that. It's ridiculous. This will be the second time the Bruins let go of a coach, of a winning coach in 4 years? And the last time we did this, he went to a team and won a cup. So,
you're talking about because they fired Cassidy.
Yeah, fired Cassidy.
Right now, where do you see Jim Montgomery coaching next? I want to hear, but Mike, you're the Boston guy. This is your area.
I have yet to hear someone be happy we got rid of Montgomery. Over the summer, I posted a few times as my name, Fire Dawn and Cam. So it's like I've been very much against it, but I haven't heard anyone. I haven't got to talk much outside my circle, though. So give me a couple days to actually talk to other people, because I unfortunately do have the victim of talking with my friend circle agrees with me. So let me bounce around and talk to other people outside of my circle to get their opinions. But if I had to take a guess, where does Monty end up? I wouldn't shock me if it was like St. Louis. It wouldn't shock me if it was. I think of coaches that are older. Like, does he go out to Utah? That franchise been strong. I don't know.
I'll give you one.
Yeah,
Detroit.
Detroit. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was.
Is that what you're going to say, Pearlo?
Yep. We think alike. That guy's not going to last in Detroit much longer, man. There's no way.
Yeah, like you said, man, Montgomery, a 715 win percentage. I mean, how many coaches get fired over his tenure with a 715 win percentage? It seemed like he.
Bruce Cassidy, Boston Bruins, had a higher winning percentage than Montgomery.
No, he didn't have a higher winning percentage than Mont. No, and that's Jason Greger, I think, tweeted it out. I'll find it, but I'm sorry, I was getting a text, and I needed to answer it. So, but Montgomery didn't have a better win percentage Montgomery had a better win percentage than Cassidy. He had the best regular season in NHL history. Darkness says, dude was the most of what was a subpar roster the last few seasons. Sweeney and Neely are the issue.
Yeah, so this is what's going to happen. Joe Sacco is on the same bench as Montgomery. He's going to slide over to the middle of the bench. And if the Boston Bruins miss the playoffs, Sweeney's gone. He's going to have till the end of this year. And if the Bruins miss the playoffs, he's out.
This seemed like a desperation move from a general manager that knows he's on thin ice. That's what it seems like to me.
I mean, is it possible the Bruins bring back Monty once Sweeney gets out of office?
No.
The thing is, he lost the room with his players. Like, look what's going on with Marchand as well, too. Just arguing on the bench and stuff. So, and who knows? It could be evident in that other players were kind of involved. But Marchand was pointing at the C on the bench the other night on his chest to Monty, like he was. There's obviously something going on in that room, and it feels like Montgomery's a bit of a smash and grab coach. Like his act wore thin a little bit just for some reasons in Dallas, but he's one of those coaches that demand a lot.
He left because he was having some personal issues.
For sure. But it seems like the type of coach where he demands a lot out of his team. And Boston's always had a good room, a good leadership room, a good group of players. But maybe it just didn't work out.
Championships did he win in Denver, Mike?
Was it 2 years, 1 chip, something like that, or 4 years, 2 national? No, 4 years, 2 Frozen Fours, 1 Natty.
Yeah.
4 tournament.
Well, there you go. The frustration, the shit rolls downhill, man. It starts upstairs, and like I said, Sweeney's probably the wrong guy is probably gone.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Sweeney and Neely aren't going to fire themselves, but like they've had enough run here, and Boston's look. They overpaid for Zadorov and Lindholm. It's apparent. Lindholm's not a number one. Pearlo was on this. I kind of pushed back on him on this, and he was on this. He was like, "No, Lindholm ain't the guy. He's a number two on a winning team, and he's not wrong. Lindholm fit great in Vancouver, and he was really good when he had Matthew Tkachuk and Johnny Gaudreau on his line, and that's when he put up good numbers. Well, those guys are, those are world-class players. I mean, Gaudreau, before he passed away, was over a point a game player. Tkachuk, we know what Tkachuk is. They won a cup, he does so many other things on the ice. So,
the roster's not good. I mean, it's just not.
I mean, Marchand's 36. Like, it's over.
Well, coming off major surgeries in the offseason, too. What did that do to his
surgeries in the offseason? I don't care how fit you are. It's tough, man. And the older you get, I mean, it's, Crosby and Ovechkin are one-offs. Like, that's why I keep telling guys, McDavid, I believe he'll get to 2,000 points. He'll do it in another, 700 or whatever games he got to it here. But that's going to be another 8 years, which is going to put him he'll be at 16 years in his career. I'll be shocked if he plays into his mid-40s. Shocked. Absolutely shocked.
Yeah.
That speed just it goes away, man. Like, you look at Sid, he makes great plays still, but he's not blowing anybody out of the water now. So,
that's why I say, like, there's lots to talk about. Marchand's got to be on the Canadian team. I don't think he has to be. I think there's better players out there that you can put on that team right now. I know he's
not re-sign Marchand.
What's that?
I wouldn't re-sign Marchand. He's in the last year of his deal. Why would they re-sign him?
I mean, I'm talking about the Four Nations Cup or whatever.
Oh,
he was one of the original few that were named. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on it.
He's on it.
He's on it, Avi. But I don't know if he needs to be on it.
No.
And like Bedard, I heard Bedard. I would not have Bedard on Four Nations right now. Sorry, just not ready, guys. Not ready.
He's got an awful roster to deal with.
I'd rather see a fourth line like you're building a team. You build a fourth line not with the skill guys like Bedard and Marchand stuff. You build a fourth line with Tom Wilson and then Lowry from Winnipeg and like a real fourth line of.
Well, I mean, Tom Wilson and Lowry are skilled enough to be on your third line.
Absolutely. But those are big boys that can just get in there in a forecheck and weigh a team down until the top line comes out.
Yeah. I mean,
isn't Stone on the fourth line for Canada?
Yeah, I would see him probably being on there too.
Mark Stone's on some island in Vegas right now on their version of Robidas Island.
Is he injured again?
I don't know. Has he been back?
No, he's injured again.
Yeah,
dude, I mentioned that on the last show.
5 games now, so
yeah. He'll see you in April, Mark Stone.
Well, they train together, Avi, in the off season, so that's
another guy that I would add into that. Like, if you had Lowry, Wilson, and a guy that nobody ever talks about in Calgary, and Coleman, that would be a great fourth line. Absolutely fantastic fourth line.
Yeah, energy, grit, size, toughness, hard to play against. Man, that's a fourth line for Team Canada.
Great defensive forwards. They play defense all over the ice and can produce offense too. Wilson is probably the most underrated player in the league, I think. I've been saying that for a while.
I think Wilson's issue is his reputation. I think that, unfortunately, how negative it is overshadows his talent.
I want a poster of that time when was it Panarin jumped on his back and all that shit happened, and he at the end he was like going like this. Come on, I want a poster of Wilson doing that life size. I love that. That was one of my favorite things I've seen in hockey. I loved it.
Chara was on the team that year. Him and Ovechkin, I remember losing it on him in like the locker room.
What's that?
I remember Chara and Ovechkin were both losing it on Wilson in the locker room after the game when he slammed Panarin's head in, like, you can't do this. And they were.
Panarin jumped on his back. What's he supposed to do?
No, it wasn't after that. It was like they were talking like when he ripped his helmet off and then slammed his head off the glass. Like that.
Okay. Yeah.
That was when Chara and Ovechkin were like, you can't be doing this. And I actually agree with first.
Yeah, I probably went a little bit over the top.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, Panarin jumped him. You got to defend yourself. And then I do also agree with Char. Like, you can't slam a dude's head off the glass at the same time. But
if you ever played, though, it's pretty hard to walk that line, man.
100%. I've been there 100 times in my life outside of sports.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the life I chose.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. So, but it's one of my faves. I love them. But what else do we get to that maybe you guys already talked about it? Georgiev was on IR all of a sudden.
Yeah, do we know how he got hurt?
Maybe he always was. He was fighting something. That's why he was playing so bad, and they thought that they could work it out, but it didn't. Maybe you got to give him a little bit of a ball in there. Because that happens a lot, right? Like you think you got a growing issue and they work on it every day, but it doesn't get any better. And next thing you know, you're on IR. Either that or they said, find something that he's heard about and give the guy a break or something.
Like, part of me wants to think Jadeveon Clowney in the NFL, like he had a hernia he played through his senior year of college, and it ruined
South Carolina Gamecocks, man. I remember him in college. He was fucking so dominant.
But it's like his senior year, they said he shouldn't have played the last 6 games, and it ruined him for the next 3 years in the NFL. So, like, I'm curious, like, is this Georgiev, like what Pearlo said, is he playing through something? And Colorado's like, all right, we're done. We're not putting him through this anymore. Let him get healthy. Yeah. And hopefully it's, not the long-term injury that, sustained Clowney.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I loved him in college, man. He was one of my favorite players when he was in there.
Fun to watch.
Yeah.
Who was that?
Jadeveon Clowney. He made South Carolina a fun team to watch those few years.
Yeah.
He made one tackle against the Michigan running back. He's the most overhyped player in the history of college football. He's been a marginal defensive end. You know he's still playing in the NFL? I'll give you $5 if you could tell me what team he's on. Not you, Mike.
Yeah, he's bounced around. Where is he now? In Houston?
No. That's where
he went. Houston, Seattle, then it was San Francisco, now Baltimore?
He's
on the Carolina Panthers right now.
Carolina.
Is he? Yeah, I mean, his NHL or NFL career wasn't the best, but no, I'm not saying he was the best player ever, but he made South Carolina fun to watch because he was like the player on their team, so they're getting a lot of airtime.
Real quick, I'm just going to flash this up because we're not doing them. Let's just get the scores going, and I think we've killed the Bonnie conversation. Like, yeah, I think everybody in the hockey world would agree the guy didn't deserve to be fired. No. I think Panthers Jets, really good game. Potential Stanley Cup teams there.
Josh Norris, goal prop.
I know Darkness is salty on his Blues, but Darkness, did you think the Blues were a playoff team this year? Because I didn't. And they've gotten a lot from Holloway and Broberg, and Broberg's been injured, but like I like their additions. They're a young team, man. They're gonna be fine. Neighbors is having a little bit of an off year. Rico, that's a little bit of a bummer. But I cannot believe Pittsburgh lost this game. They looked good. They looked really, really good. I'll tell you who's had a really good year for Pittsburgh. And if you need a middle 6 guy or bottom six guy that's played really well and it's been a pest. Anthony Beauvillier, been an absolute dirtbag for them. I would totally want him on my team if I needed a player like that. And I don't think he's going to cost much. Again, I thought the Oilers played the best game of their season this year. Draisaitl, and the thing that scares me about them is, look, now they got something from Nugent Hopkins, but they're not getting anything from anyone in their bottom six. And Pearlo, you hit the nail on the head. Skinner has not been good for them. He's not been noticeable at all. They have him on the fourth line now. Rangers are tied with the Canucks 2-2. Islanders are still up 1-0. That game's late in Calgary. So we have 2 live games still in and I believe the Rangers game is at intermission still for another few minutes. So just to get those in. And then we'll talk about tomorrow's games.
Yeah, let's do that.
So first off the bat, the Golden Knights. And I was going to look to see, because Bleacher Report does a really good job of showing who's out. Because I didn't know Braden Point's been out for the Lightning, so he was back today. So Golden Knights, Maple Leafs. Golden Knights are missing Hutton, Demick, Gustafsson, Cormier, Stone, and Haig. Poor Mark Stone, man, cannot stay healthy. Now, Leafs are not doing much better. They're missing Matthews, Yarncroke, Kampf, Mermis, and Pacioretty. So they've got, 3 or 4 of those guys are starters. They're going to be playing if they're healthy. So give Toronto a lot of credit. I heard they're bringing up, so Rico's not here, but Fraser Minton, I want to say. I think Fraser Minton's correct.
Yeah.
So that game, I am getting over under 6. Golden Knights are actually a road dog, plus 114. And this shows you how bad Vegas has played on the road, that they're a dog against the Leafs. I might take Vegas on. Yeah, Reeves is suspended for 5 games. That's right, Andrew. Thanks for reminding me. You guys have anything or no?
Sorry, you're going.
I'm not the handicapper here, so
we're doing Vegas Toronto here.
Yeah,
Vegas Toronto.
Yeah, I'm getting Vegas at plus 114 through DraftKings, and the over under is 6.
If it's a 6, I'd probably go with the over here. Stolarz will probably be in that. Nothing wrong with that.
He's been good. He's been very good.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
I'm just trying to look up what they've been doing as of late. How long has Vegas been on the road for?
This is their first game.
This is their first game. And
yeah, that's the other thing. It's the first game on the road, and you always want to put your best foot forward on that.
They haven't been good on the road, though.
No, they haven't been good on the road.
No.
They've been under 500. They've been under 500 on the road. I don't know.
They're still 11-5-2. The records are not that much different. That's the.
Toronto's got Matthews back.
No.
Oh, no, he's not?
No. He's in Munich right now. You missed that part of the show? You were here for it. Okay.
I missed it somehow.
You were here for it.
He's in Munich.
Yeah.
I would just go with the over here. The Knights have had difficulties with Hill and whoever else they put in net, and they've kind of had to outscore their opponents as of late. And trying to do that against Toronto is going to be a tough go, but I would say that's a 6 is pretty low here. I think I like the over.
Okay, Rico, where are you at on this one? And again, you don't have to have all the games.
Yeah, tough call here, but I think they're going to start eating Hill. They got Ottawa the next night, so I think they're going to probably floor it in Toronto. Maybe Ottawa could sneak out a win the next game, but coming off a loss against the Caps, first game on the road trip, trying to get her going here. It's a 5-gamer for Vegas, so all the stuff going on with Matthews. I mean, Pacioretty's out, David Camp's out, Yarncroke's out. I mean, they got defense and goaltending right now in Toronto is the thing holding them together, which we couldn't say in recent years, but they're playing the Berube system, so they're not getting blown out. They're not blowing anybody out. This could be a sneaky draw game, maybe a throw a few shekels on a tie. If not, maybe Vegas, if you can get them at plus money, probably take a shot with the Golden Knights here. A lot of stuff going on in Toronto right now.
Obviously, says Matthews being out won't matter. 5-6 games. He's the most overrated super team in sports. All right. Mike, who do you like here?
I get Vegas for plus money, but ultimately I'm not betting this game. Too close for my comfort.
Okay. All right. Next game, Hurricanes Flyers. That game is, that game is a 6.5. Canes are missing Jarvis, Freddie Anderson, Jesper Fast. I think Fast has been out for the year. Flyers have a little bit more injuries. They have Andre's out, Eric Andre. He's a defenseman. Cam York, Jamie Drysdale, Ryan Ellis. Obviously, Ryan Ellis has been out forever. And their goalie, Sam Merson. So they actually have been getting some solid goaltending from that Fedotov kid. He's starting to figure out the North American game, but they're in some shootouts. So I don't know how you pick anybody other than Carolina here. The odds are minus 230 plus 190. It's 6.5. I mean, this would be a complete shock if the Flyers won this game to me.
Yeah, I'd probably take the under here. Carolina's given up 1 goal in their last 2 games. Philly's won 3 of their last 4. They're sitting at home in the middle of a long homestand here, so they haven't played since Monday. I mean, they lost a tight one to the Avalanche, but they won 3 before that, so might be a little tight, maybe on the under, because you're not going to get much value betting on the Hurricanes here unless you want to see if Philly can just come out with a spirited win at home. But I might just take the under in this game. Philly probably just tries and locks it down and like a 3-1 Carolina win type thing.
I think this is going to be like a 7-5 game.
Think so?
Yes. The Canes have been scoring goals. The Flyers have been putting goals in the net. They're not having problems scoring, but
yeah.
I
should probably just say no. I'm not touching this.
Nate just has 30 points on the year, 11 goals, 19 assists. Konechny has 12 goals. It's 11 goals, 12. Konechny leads. He has 23 points. So that's a TNT Max game, by the way. So that'll be the TNT boys, Biz and company. I think they have 2. Nope, that's just one. They have 2. They have 2. Predators, Kraken's the other one.
I'll say 3-1 Canes.
Oh, Mike, do you want to bet Hurricanes Flyers?
I'm gonna end up throwing the Canes in a parlay, but Canes money line.
Okay. Sharks, Stars. Sharks have actually been playing some pretty respectable hockey, and I don't know what's going on with Dallas. They got run out of their own building by Anaheim the other day. Maybe they just got a lot of injuries. Sharks are missing Chernisov, Couture, Vlasic, Sturm, basically who they've been missing. It says Dallas doesn't have any injuries, so I don't know what's going on with them.
They don't.
But minus 445 for the Stars, plus 350. There's no value in betting this game. The over-under is 6. I don't know. Were you guys on this game at all?
So I just looked at it. If I put Carolina and Dallas together on MGM, I get a minus 131. And then tomorrow is MGM's 20 for 20, everybody. $20 for a 20% odds boost. So I'll end up getting even money or plus 101 for the Dallas and Carolina parlay. So that's my bet tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably take Dallas minus 1.5 here on the puck line.
Calgary just got it. Anderson.
I think you'd have to take Dallas minus 1.5. San Jose's been spunky. I didn't do the Philadelphia pick though, so I'm gonna throw that out there. New Jersey's on a back-to-back. This is the first game of a back-to-back. They got New Jersey right after this. I have a feeling they're not gonna waste their big guys here. I actually I know they've been scoring a lot more, but this is a spot with New Jersey next. If Carolina gets up early, I think they're just going to try to shut it down and save their big guns for New Jersey. So I kind of like the under there, and probably like Carolina, like 3-0 or something like that. That's what I like on that one. And Dallas, probably just team total over. Dallas team total over 3.5 or 4.5 or whatever. They don't play again until Tampa Bay. You know, the only way that they're maybe could be they got 2 days at home right after this, and maybe they're thinking about doing whatever tomorrow or something like that. But that San Jose team is so bad that, and they don't have like a spectacular record. They're still got to chase. You know, the Winnipeg is still out there. I think they still want to stay up in that top somewhere. So I would take Dallas maybe. Yeah, team total over 4.5 or something like that.
Okay. Preds Kraken, the other late night TNT game. Preds are starting to come around, man. Their power play is starting to work. Last couple of games they are clicking. They dismantled Vancouver in Vancouver. Like, I don't know what's going on with Vancouver at home. By the way, they just took a penalty against the Rangers, but it's 16-27 in the second, 2-2 still in that game. And then 10:38 left in the third, 1-1 Calgary Islanders, for those of you that are following along live with us. Preds Kraken, the Kraken are plus 110 home dog, and the over-under in that is 6. Boy, the Kraken they just don't have any like high-end skill. It's like, Beniers looks good at times, but I just don't know what to think. Mike, you like anybody in this game?
I did like the Predators, but my one fear is if Decord is going for the Kraken, he's got like a 2.6, 2.7 goals against. And
yeah, he's been good. It's definitely going to be Decord.
Yeah,
the last game they had Grubauer in. So.
Yeah, so because of that, I'm probably not touching it as much as Nashville is getting hotter.
Yeah. Well, plus money at Seattle wouldn't be terrible either.
Right, but you're then asking me to bet on Seattle, and that's tough for me to do. Though I had Anaheim the last couple of games, so maybe I should. One I'm going to think about, but if you want my answer now, it's a no bet.
Yeah, got you. Rico, anything here on this game?
If you're getting a 6, I kind of like the under here. I mean, you got Saros in net, and Seattle can't score, and then. The only thing is Nashville's
scoring problems too, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then the Preds got the Jets in the next game, and then Seattle goes down to LA and Anaheim after this. So I think they got one foot on the plane. I think Nashville probably takes this, and I might call the under if you're going to take a total here. But I'll take Nashville, and Jordan Eberle I think's dealing with something too, so I don't even know if he's going to play.
Yeah, let me look at I didn't see. Yeah, it says Eberle's out day to day. Vince Dunn, they're missing. And then Nashville's not missing anybody of any note. Okay, last game of the night, Sabres Kings.
I'll take the under too. Seattle Nashville, I'll take the under.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we keep forgetting to ask for Pearlo's pick.
Yeah, Pearlo under. Sabres Kings. Over under 6. Sabres are a road dog. Kings have actually been solid. Like Sabres are missing Greenway, Luukkonen, Samuelson, and Tage Thompson. Not good. Kaliev, Jones, Doughty, and Kemper are out for the Kings. So,
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo 4 days between games here, flying across the country to play LA. Know if they have little sleepy legs, but LA's coming off a win against Detroit 4-1 after a couple losses. And same thing, both of these teams haven't played since Saturday, and they're gonna have a Wednesday night game against each other. Maybe like a first period under, just because Buffalo's going to the West Coast. So maybe even like Pearlo said, maybe a full game under, or he called that in the Seattle game. But I kind of like this under too. You might get Dave Rittich here, but it's showing Pekka Luukkonen as a starter expected. So might be a bit of a snooze fest game.
It says he's got an undisclosed injury and he's day to day. Not saying that he can't be in, but that's what they're telling me. So
I could probably see a draw in this game.
Yeah, I mean, I really worry about Buffalo without Tage Thompson in the lineup. He's been really good for them. He leads the team in goals with 11. Yes, guys like Alex Tuck can step up, but I mean, Buffalo's been mid. They're 8-9. It's just like the Senators. We keep expecting them to turn a page, and they just don't, well, for whatever reason. So, I mean, I feel like Buffalo's gotten to a better start this year. At least they're closer to 500, and they have an outside shot. I'd rather have Buffalo than Detroit right now. I can tell you that.
I'd rather have Ottawa than both of them.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, and to be fair, Omar's been good for Ottawa when he's been on. So, bless you, Mike.
Thanks.
Yeah, you guys? Anybody else want to talk about this game before we?
I actually just I just peeped DraftKings, and you're getting even money or a -110 on the under for the first period. So I took it because I do think they're both gonna have the slow start with the sleepy legs. But plus 340 on the draw, Rico. You keep saying draws, and you know what? This is going to be my first draw bet of the year.
Yeah, Rico comes from the Ice Guys school of betting. They're all about the draws. They have a whole draw.
I mean, you just think it's an East Coast team against a West Coast team. Both of them will not have been played in 4 days. They don't care if they each get a point and they get the hell out of the building, because it doesn't affect their standings. They won't meet each other until the Stanley Cup final if they ever make it there. And Buffalo and LA are making it there, so I think they'll just be happy to just escape at a point. Just don't kill each other. Just get the hell out of town, and I'll move on. And LA will play Seattle after this, and then they'll turn it up a little bit more of a notch. And I don't know. I love these East Coast West Coast ties, because they might just talk to each other during the third period and say, okay, let's just not fucking kill each other. We need a point out of this, and we'll never see you until next year. We'll see you next year.
Yeah, I like the draw there too. I like the draw first period as well. You could see it being 0-0, 1-1. I also like the draw in the Nashville game as well. Those are both teams that don't want to lose a point in that game. You know, at least get 1 point.
Well, Nashville's in the West. They should.
Yeah, I know. It's not really because of the conference. It's not really because of that. It's because both of those teams need a point real bad. They don't want to get no points in that game. So I could see a draw on that one. That's not my favorite draw. I do like this draw better, but I would put a little bit on the draw on that one. And with Buffalo being so banged up, I think LA eventually will take it.
Real quick,
They'll take it at home. I think LA eventually will take it.
That's the last game, by the way. 5 games, everybody. Real quick, breaking news from Dave Dawson. Dave works for HN Live Canada. I don't know what it is. He's he's a producer. He says, breaking news, the BCHL has called an emergency Board of Governors meeting this weekend to discuss how to handle the continuous exodus of players to the CHL and back to Hockey Canada. So I don't know what's going on there with the BCHL. Wasn't the BCHL one of their own kind of entities outside of the whole CHL thing, and they broke off on their own for reasons, I don't know, for kids could go to school or whatever. Now maybe with the rule changes, the NCAA, does that affect? Rico, are you?
Not 100% sure,
Thursday
man.
We got 10 games. We'll preview that tomorrow.
Like the British Columbia, I'm not sure
Go ahead,
about
Rico.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not sure about the BCHL.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm wondering if it has to do with that. I mean, look, if you're a kid and you were going to go play in the ECHL or AHL after you're done with your junior career and you weren't drafted, you've got D1 hockey. Like Mike and I have been talking D1 or D3. I think, we're going to see a lot more guys go to college in the States. But I mean, you still have the option to go to college in Canada, correct? I mean, how many universities can they go to from the CHL? A bunch, right? And it's free for them, correct? It's almost like military service. So
pretty much.
I mean,
yeah.
if you earned it.
And where I grew up in Thunder Bay, a lot of players went and played in UMD, Minnesota Duluth. They'd go down to Princeton. They'd go to North Dakota. Like a lot of that area would go to those northern states just south of the border. So
yeah, Rangers just scored, by the way, Avi, 3-2. Kako. Still lots of time left.
Wow.
But, Kako. 3-2, 11-15 left in the second. And we have a pretty good finish here. Rico, it makes sense that a lot of your guys go to Minnesota, being right there. It's not far, correct?
Yeah, because they had the Thunder Bay Flyers in the USHL, the United States Hockey League, and Thunder Bay was the only Canadian team there. So that's where Patrick Sharp played. There's a few guys that came out of that USHL.
Yeah,
it was good hockey, man. Yeah, they go down.
Why did the Thunder Bay Flyers go away?
I don't know. They ended up folding, and I don't know if it was just ownership or money, but I had moved away after that, so I didn't keep track of what happened to them. But growing up as a kid, we used to go watch them. I remember watching Patrick Sharp play junior A for the Thunder Bay Flyers. It was good hockey.
I met Patrick Sharp, big guy, actually.
Yeah. There was teams from Iowa, like North Dakota, Minnesota, like Wisconsin. Like it was good.
Yeah. I believe
the USHL is still around, I think, is it not? The USHL?
Oh yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it's still there.
That's what the U.S. National Development Programs in the USHL. So they're like one of the better teams in that. Yeah. So there's some talk that the USHL will join the CHL and then play for the Mem Cup, and then because that would benefit that program. It would open up to more Canadian kids to come to the States too. So hopefully that happens. We'll see. Crosby did move past Joe Sakic tonight for 13th all time. He needs 20. I'll just tell you. He is 16 assists behind Mario Lemieux for 12th all time. And then he's only 7. So add 23 assists behind Marcel Dion. Marcel Dion doesn't get enough love there. One of the best players ever. Avi goes, yeah, I'm not going to lie. College hockey is about to become almost too good. I really don't like this rule for major junior hockey players to come play after 19 or 20. You know what, Avi? It's going to be good because what it'll do is it'll keep some of the younger kids in college a little bit longer is all. That's all, man. And in fact, some of the American kids will go play in the OHL and stuff. It's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt them, man. If anything, it's going to make them stay in longer. And I heard, I don't know if it was Bukala. He was saying it will almost be beneficial if the NHL raised the age to 19. That you can't even get drafted until you're 19. But how do you do that? Because you're going to have to miss a whole year.
NFL did that. You can't play an NFL snap until you're 20 or have completed 2 years of college.
Yeah, I would hope. I'll tell you what, scouts. I've heard from scouts that they would love this because it's so difficult to scout these kids when they're so young. So look, if you're I think it's only going to make the game of hockey better. It's only going to make the game of hockey better because it's going to expose some of these kids that don't get seen. And if they do come to college and they play long, now they can play till they're like, if let's say you get out of juniors at 20, you go play college, you can play for 4 more years and let your body develop. I think it's going to be really good for the game of hockey. You better hope your team is invested in scouting and watching these kids play. You know, a lot of the Northeast teams have had, like Washington, the Rangers, the Bruins have had an advantage with these college kids for a lot of years because they get to watch them. But that's starting to go away the dinosaur because all these other NHL teams are starting to get wise to it. You know, the Kings have been doing it for a long time. That LaFerriere kid's doing real well. What's he, a Harvard or something?
Harvard.
You know? So.
I would say kid that benefited from something like this already is Demon. He played 1 year in Niagara because no one saw him. Then went and won a national title, was the top pair at Denver, and then took Merrimack to another national tournament. And now he's having a pretty good, respectable third line deep pair career. But like no one knew who he was, and then it was a top deep pair for a natty.
So Avi, I hear what you're saying. You think it's dumb that somebody's 25. One, what if they do a military commitment? Or what if they're like Mormon and they do a religious thing? They're going to be able to sue. They're going to cap college hockey at like 35. You can play college. There are 28-year-olds playing college football right now because of the transfer portal and the pandemic. So it just isn't going to matter, man. Like.
Yeah, but I mean, right now we already have 21, 22-year-old freshmen. Like that's still a thing.
Yeah, because they went and played like junior or like Division III, right? Which
no, like
it's
not so much they played Division III. Like they went and played like other development leagues, whether it was overseas or ones that I can't think of in the States. And all of a sudden, the Junior Southern Pro League was a big popular one. And now you're 22 years old and you're going to go to college. And sometimes they go D1. A lot of times they go D3, but you still have a 22-year-old freshman.
Okay. I don't want to go down the college football road with you, Avi, but why do you think the 12-team playoff is trash? You know what was trash? The BCS. The BCS was trash, where they randomly picked 2 teams to play in the championship. No, this is the right thing. This is going to be fine. It's going to be good. Mike, you and I have been saying they should expand the Frozen Four. We should have a round of 16. The higher seeds should play home games, and then they go to regionals. These regional, it's like makes no sense. You should have home games if you're a high seed in a tough conference. So.
I mean, I love the regionals.
Bobby, it's Thanksgiving. We got 3 weeks or 4 weeks of college football left. Let's wait till it shapes out. You don't know what the 12 teams is going to look like. Everybody loves to complain. It's because nobody knows what to do with themselves now, because it'll all work itself out after all the conference championships. So, as always, I love the men's cams. It's the perfect evaluation of beer growth. All right. Polar Nights. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. That's a cool looking photo. Get the Northern Lights where you're at. So appreciate you. We get the Twitch so few. We get so few people from the Twitch, so I appreciate you. So it always makes me happy that we're getting some people. Probably got some people on Instagram and didn't even notice. So yes, Avi, it doesn't matter, man. All that stuff's gonna sort. Texas is gonna play in the SEC championship. So if they don't win that, by the way, Vancouver just tied at Connor Garland. That dude's mustache is next level. Yep, just got it. Garland, buddy, on it. So that, like you said, that's going to shape up to be a good game. 6 minutes and 58 seconds left to go. Do you guys have anything else before we'll be back tomorrow, 10:30? We got 10 games to preview for Thursday.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. I think I better head out. I got to get up early in the morning. So.
Oh, do you want to break your news?
What's that?
You want to break your news about our phone conversation? I told him you guys had some news. Do you want to talk about it today?
Oh, about morning shows and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about it, or do you want to talk about it another day?
Yeah,
Oh, you can't let us go to bed.
We're working on
something
something where I'm going to start doing a morning show.
Okay, we'll talk about it with the fans tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or the next day, but we'll talk about it with you guys after we end the show. Appreciate everybody. Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow, 10:30 Eastern for NHL Nightly. Appreciate everybody. Have a good one.